Here's an uncomfortable truth. Statistically, you're probably fine. Not great, not terrible, just aggressively okay. According to cutting-edge research I absolutely did not make up, 90% of developers are average because 50% have to be below average, 40% are still Googling JavaScript map versus for each, and the remaining 10% are tweeting about Vim key bindings from a hammock. Sometimes I wonder which group I'm in. Then I remember my GitHub contributions graph looks like someone sprinkled green squares onto a calendar at random and gave up halfway through. I could investigate, but I enjoy sleeping at night. Average developers aren't useless, though. They're like houseplants. Give them sunlight, water, and a permanently open Stack Overflow tab, and they'll stay alive. They might even look productive if you don't touch them or change their environment too quickly. What's weird is that every developer wants to be amazing, yet somehow we all drift toward this gentle gray middle. It's like gravity, but for competence. And once you feel that pull, it's hard not to slide into the real danger zone, thinking you're improving just because you watch someone else code for 12 minutes. Picture this. You open YouTube just to check one thing, and suddenly you're 3 tutorials deep, learning how to build a weather app in a language you don't even use. Tutorials are basically fast food for developers. They smell amazing, they go down easy, and 5 minutes after you're done, you can't remember anything except a vague feeling of shame. And the channels. Oh, the channels. They speak with this calm, monk-like wisdom, guiding you along the path of the infinite breadcrumb trail. Each video ends exactly where the next one begins, like they're trying to trap you in a spiritual loop of, welcome back. In this part, Will, at some point, you stop learning entirely and just start appreciating their lighting setup. I once bragged that I finished a full course. Then I remembered I skipped to the final code download like some kind of feral creature who lives off GitHub zip files. I'm not proud, but I also haven't stopped. The real trick is that tutorials feel like momentum. You feel smarter without actually touching anything difficult. And once that feeling settles in, the next logical step is obvious. Start collecting frameworks the way a dragon collects shiny objects, without using any of them for an actual project. Here's a question nobody asks out loud. How many frameworks do you actually need before you build something? And the answer, apparently, is one more than whatever you already know. Developers treat frameworks like Pokeballs. Just walk around the internet chucking them at anything that moves. Level 1 is simple. You learn React. You feel confident. You feel modern. You feel like you've joined a club where everyone communicates using hooks and passive-aggressive comments about class components. Then Level 2 hits. Suddenly, you've watched 3 videos on Vue, skimmed a Svelte tutorial, and you're telling people you prefer the philosophy of solid, even though that philosophy is mostly just exist loudly on Hacker News. Level 3 is where the transformation completes. You haven't built a single real thing in 6 months, but you can explain the subtle moral differences between 18 state management libraries. You speak in sentences like, well, Zustand is fine, but if you understand the reactivity model deeply enough, and that's when everyone stops listening. Collecting tools feels productive, even though it's just digital hoarding with better branding. And once you're in that mindset, the workplace becomes a perfect playground for pretending all that knowledge is being put to good use while accomplishing absolutely nothing at all. The strangest thing about office life is how easy it is to look busy without doing anything dangerous, like actual work. You can sit perfectly still, staring at your screen, and people will assume you're deep in thought, instead of mentally ranking your coworkers' keyboard noises from least to most chaotic. I once fixed a bug by commenting out the offending code, waiting 3 days, and then uncommenting it again like I was lifting a medieval curse. No one questioned it. Someone even thanked me. I still think about that sometimes. Stand-up doesn't help. There's an unspoken rule that whoever talks first loses, so the whole team stands in a circle pretending to study the floorboards until one brave soul sacrifices themselves. After that, every update is just a variation of still investigating, which can cover anything from real debugging to watching a 12-minute video titled Rust vs. Go. Which one feels more like breakfast? And Jira is alive. You leave one task alone overnight, and by morning it's sprouted 3 subtasks, 2 epics, and a cryptic comment from someone in another time zone. It's like sourdough, but angrier. All this effort to avoid doing one thing, the scary stuff. The problems that bite back when you poke them. Let me ask you something unsettling. Why does every hard problem feel like it's 8 feet tall and slightly wet? You know it won't actually hurt you, But you also don't want to be the one to get close enough to find out. Take concurrency bugs. Debugging them is like trying to chase a ghost that occasionally throws exceptions just to keep things interesting. You fix one race condition, and 3 more appear, like you've wandered into some kind of multi-threaded Hydra situation. At a certain point, you start negotiating with the universe. If this test passes once, I'll stop touching it forever. Please. People say that tackling hard problems builds character. And maybe that's true, but character doesn't hold a candle to the warm, fuzzy comfort of typing to do, optimize later, and gently closing the file like you're putting a blanket over a sleeping child. Then there are the legendary bugs, the ones whispered about in Slack threads, like the Stripe engineer who fixed a production issue with a one-line change that required a 40-page internal document to explain. A 40-page explanation for a semicolon. I read stories like that and think, yeah, I'm good. Still, the longer you avoid the scary stuff, the more it grows in the dark, which is why, eventually, every developer starts searching for some mythical shortcut out of this whole cycle. Some trick that doesn't involve bravery, discipline, or any of the other inconvenient things adults talk about. Here's the miracle secret you've been waiting for. There is no miracle secret. I know. I'm disappointed too. This is usually the part of the video where someone promises you a magic framework or a productivity hack involving 3 monitors and a color-coded keyboard. Instead, all I've got is the deeply unsexy truth that getting better mostly means doing the hard, boring stuff on purpose, repeatedly, like flossing, but for your brain. And yes, I hate that advice as much as you do. I wish the trick was something cooler, like install this extension or switch to Dvorak, but apparently the universe runs on effort, which feels rude. Remember the houseplant thing from earlier? Turns out you need more than sunlight and Stack Overflow. You also need discomfort. Houseplants hate discomfort. Humans grow from it. Very inconsiderate design choice if you ask me. Still, there's something weirdly comforting about it. You don't need to be gifted. You don't need to be special. You just have to be mildly stubborn in the direction of improvement. Or, you could ignore all of this and stay average on purpose, which, honestly, sounds kind of peaceful. But if you're even a little curious about what's on the other side, well, there's one more thing to talk about. Here's a fun statistic I just invented. 100% of people who watch videos like this will forget everything in them by tomorrow and start a brand new Learn X in 10 minutes tutorial at 2 a.m. It's not your fault. It's the circle of life. Somewhere out there, a content creator just got notified that you fell into their algorithmic net like a sleepy trout. And look, I'm not judging. I'm right there with you. I would fix my own habits, but I'm currently busy reorganizing my VS Code themes by emotional tone. Today, I'm a muted purple with light melancholy kind of developer. Very productive. If there's a point to all this, big if, it's that being average is the default setting for basically all of us. Weirdly enough, that's kind of reassuring. You don't have to pretend you're a genius. You don't have to pretend you're a disaster. You just get to exist somewhere in the middle with everyone else, trying not to break production on a Friday. So congratulations. You're still doing it wrong, but at least now you know you're in excellent company.